for us to really fully know who we are and live the best life and the most conscious, connected life, we need to understand our triggers, our programs, our stories, our shadows, and without judgment, loving our way through them, learning about them, learning from them, accepting them, and then growing and moving through them.
Hi everyone, and welcome to the podcast Fly with Mel. I use this podcast to talk about all the personal development that we can get by living far from home. I tell some stories, but most of the time I invite people that I meet along the way to share their own. This podcast is an open door to the world because I truly believe that everyone you meet has something to teach you. So I invite you to take a seat and enjoy the flight. Hi everyone, today I'm with Daniella from Perth. Hello Daniella.
Hi Mel, how are you?
I'm great, how are you?
Great, thank you.
I'm happy to have you on the podcast. Thank you for making the time. Today we are going to talk about the path to spiritual awakening. I'm not going to touch base too much on that because we will just hear more from you. But before we start, I always start my podcast with a little exercise to make sure that the audience can visualize who you are a bit better. Can you just give us 3 things that define the woman that you are?
All right. So I am a mother of 2 teenage boys. I'm extremely passionate about life. All things I live and breathe, I speak to. So being outside in nature, daily self-care practices, movement, nutrition. So lots of connection there. Mm-hmm. I love my power naps daily. That's how I get through my days. And yeah, I've already said, I love nature. I love gardening. I'm not great at it, but I love being outdoors in the sunshine.
How many minutes do you do a power naps for?
I'll set a timer for about 30 minutes.
Okay.
And by the time I fall asleep and wake up, it's about 10, 15 minutes that I've actually slept. Mm-hmm. I did develop adrenal fatigue many, many years ago. So it's just something I've learned. But I find with the energies at the moment, they're so intense that our bodies are needing extra rest and nurturing and care. And so that's how I navigate my days. My lunch breaks, I have power naps.
I love that. I should definitely try to introduce a bit of power naps in my lunch break.
Yeah, especially for women at different parts of our cycles. Really, really, really helpful and powerful. So yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yes.
So Daniella, do you want to tell us just a bit more who you are and what do you do for work? I don't like to say for work. I hate to say that. What's your
service?
Yeah, your service.
Yeah, my service. So I began with a psychology degree. So I'm a psychologist in terms of my studies, but through my journey, I have evolved and grown my modalities. I work holistically as a psychologist now, and I see myself as bridging the gap between science and spirituality. So I bring a lot of energetics, consciousness, and spiritual sort of aspects into the work that I do. And using my intuition and all of that. And yeah, my focus is really helping people to connect to the truth and essence of who they are and being able to live their highest vibration and frequency through moving through the challenges of life. Helping people to gain a deeper, greater understanding of who they are, how the world around them is impacting them and how they can navigate that. And really learning to trust and believe in the truth and sovereignty and power and magnificence of who we are as individuals and infinitely amazing beings. So that's me in a nutshell.
I know that when we had the first chat together, you said something that resonated a lot with me at the beginning of our chat. It was the fact that we can feel more and more and more an awakening in the society and with the people around us. We can feel that people are starting to reconnect to themselves. And there is also this kind of spiritual energy that we can feel all around us. Like people talk much more about practices such as yoga, acupuncture or breath work or this kind of thing. Like we can see that more often around us. And you were telling me like, yes, there is a spiritual awakening in the world right now. Can you just, tell us a bit more about, first of all, maybe what is spiritual awakening, and what does it mean for us in this world?
I'm going to just say awakening in general.
Mm-hmm.
So what I've seen is, our whole lives we are conditioned to look outside of ourselves. So we follow what we're told to do. When we're sick, we go to a doctor. We do what society tells us to do. We do what our family tells us to do. So there's a lot of programming throughout our lives. From the ages of 0 to 7 is when we download our programs from our parents, and then we continue to add to that through our lives. What I've noticed, especially over the last 2 years with the pandemic, with all the lockdowns, with all these regulations and rules that have been placed upon us, people are starting to question, hang on, I'm not liking this. And not to go into any of that, but just I feel that has really started helping people to look one, when you're stuck at home with yourself, you've got nothing to do but actually question whether you like yourself or not, or your family or your situation. So that I feel brought up a lot for people to start going, hey, actually, I don't really know who I am. I don't really know if I'm happy. And so there was that kind of awakening, I guess, in terms of their connection with themselves. There was a deeper awakening in terms of, what is going on in the world and our connection to what's going on in the world. There was this kind of general awakening. I think that's kind of how, and it's been going on for many years, but I think it was amplified over the last 2 years.
Yeah.
For me, the spiritual awakening is really to understand or to receive a deeper understanding of self and our connection to how the world operates. So a deeper connection to nature, to the earth, to our breath, so that's how I've seen the spiritual awakening. For me personally, in my service to others, I really am focusing on helping them to come within. So again, we are so influenced by the world outside of us. If there's fear, chaos, panic going on outside, we bring that in, and then we go into fear, panic, chaos within us, and that's not serving us. So I am very passionate about helping people to learn, okay, with all that going on around us, how can I come in? How do I ground myself? How do I connect to my heart? How do I really center and align myself? Feel like anchored, and then look at what's going on around me and choose how, and even if I want to interact with what's going on over there, if I want to go and see this person, does that make sense?
Totally makes sense.
So for me, that's paramount in this awakening, I guess, is how are you influenced by what's going on around you, and how are you in turn learning to come within and then consciously choosing how you are going to interact with what's going on around you in a way that is fulfilling and enhancing your life, and then in turn those around you as well.
Yeah, completely resonate with me. I'm trying to think about how can people suddenly start to question themselves about, like, with this kind of thing. Oh, I feel that right now. Is it good or is it bad? Do you think they could do the work by themselves of starting to shift their mind and say, like, maybe that's not how I should feel, or maybe I should feel differently, or I could feel differently?
One thing I want to just say to what you've just said is no judgment. There is no good or bad. There is no should. When we start thinking should or could or must, that's rules, right? That's our ego. That's external. That's our programming playing out. And good and bad, like an emotion is literally energy in motion. It's just we have this energy that is experienced. As humans, we have describe them as being good or bad based on how they make us feel. But in essence, they're literally just an energy. We have the capacity to move them through us, but we just haven't been taught it. So I'm feeling angry. Anger's bad. We mustn't show anger. I need to suppress it. I'm feeling sad. Oh, I'm weak. I mustn't show sadness. I need to suppress it. So can you see, again, another program and conditioning? So my question would be, first, when you wake up for the day, how are you feeling? Are you excited about the day ahead? Do you feel anxious? Do you feel overwhelmed? Not to judge those feelings, but this is a beautiful indication of what is going on for you in terms of how you're feeling at this moment. Yes, you can do the work on your own, but honestly, I have not done the work on my own. I have mentors, I have coaches, and I honestly couldn't say that I would be where I'm at to the depth of where I've gone if I didn't have someone holding me to do that work, because you have to go pretty deep. When I went into my sadness or my grief, it's confronting. We don't know how to do that. So I had to have my mentor holding me, knowing that, and not physically, but energetically, I knew she would be there to pull me out if I needed, but I also knew that I was safe in that space and I could go right deep into it, move it through me, clear it, and then come out the other side. I would never have gone that deep on my own. It would have been too scary. And it's a confronting journey because we're not used to feeling our emotions.
Exactly.
You know, so if I say, hey, Mel, come, let's sit in that grief of the loss of that relationship, you're gonna be like, no, you know? Yeah. So it's a process and a journey, and we start with the easier, and there's a very beautiful process that I use that helps to somatically move the energies, and very heart-centered. Everything that I do is about connection to the heart, because the heart is what connects us to our soul, and also connects us to the earth and to the source, the aspect of us that is us.
Every time I have some guests on the podcast, I'm always very, very curious to know what is the story behind the human that I have in front of me. So I would love to know how, like, what made you feel, like, what made you become the woman you are today, and yeah, this whole spiritual awakening, as we mentioned. Where does this come from for you?
So I didn't have a profound aha moment. For me, it's been a progression over the years. So I separated from my husband in 2011. It was a very stressful period of my life, and I started exercising at the gym. And then from there, I got involved in training to do fitness competitions. And through that, I learned all about nutrition. So that was a very short-lived, that's what got me into my adrenal fatigue, right? So the universe is beautiful. So that was about 2 years, just under a year and a half of intense training, learning about the body, learning about nutrition. And then my body stopped and was like, okay, that's enough. 3 months in bed, I started getting into yoga, meditation, still very much in the psychology realm, but starting to delve into that. And then, so that continued for a few more years. The healing from the adrenal fatigue was quite a few years. I was trying to learn. Nobody knew what it was, so I've just labeled it that. So over the years, I just navigated that, learned a bit more about mindfulness. In psychology, there's an actual technique called acceptance and commitment therapy that is mindfulness based, and that really resonated. So I started going more into that and away from the cognitive behavior therapy stuff. And then maybe about 6 years ago or so, I had a card reading. And growing up in South Africa, all the spiritual stuff was evil. You know, I was Catholic, I was Christian. All this stuff is not good, it's bad, it's evil. So I've done a lot of work around that programming conditioning. But anyway, in this card reading, she said to me that I'm an empath. And I was like, what does that even mean? And then when I looked into it, I understood. And I was like, oh, that's why I can't even speak at the end of a day. Like, I have no energy left. I'm exhausted. I'm depleted. So I started looking into that. Then I started playing with learning about cards and crystals. And I got into that more new agey stuff. Yeah. And then I met I can't actually remember how it all evolved, but I met some beautiful people up in Perth. And because I live 2 hours south of Perth. So where I live, it's a smaller town and not very spiritual. And I met some beautiful people. And through one of them, I started looking at the bigger self-development work. And he connected me to one of my very best friends and mentors. So it was from that point that I really started delving into the self-work and understanding what that meant and what that involved and what that looked like. And like I said, through that journey of me, I've now integrated that into what I'm doing.
I'm very impressed about the fact that you grew up with a certain education around like everything about spirituality is evil.
Yeah.
And now like you shifted completely and you're doing that. How did that happen? I mean, that also means that we can completely shift our beliefs and perceptions of the
really
world.
Can. You really can. Through everything that we do. So if you say, okay, you know what, I'm going to start walking every day. This is my new challenge. We are always going to have blocks. We are always going to have beliefs, limiting beliefs. You know, there's always going to be some kind of resistance that's going to come up. The work, if we want to call it that, is literally being able to, again, with loving compassion and non-judgment, observing and witnessing. I have this block that I'm too tired, or it's a bit overcast, it might rain, or I don't have enough time today. That's a great human excuse that we all play, or story. So then there's so many levels to this, because then it's also about linking what you want to create in your life and change to what's important to you. What are your values? What are you passionate about? So for you, you might go, you know what, I really want to be healthy and I want to be able to connect more with nature. So this is really important to me. So I'm not going to listen to that excuse if I don't have time anymore. I'm going to challenge myself every morning to wake up at this time and just go for 5 minutes. Mm-hmm. And then over time, you create a new habit over 28 days, and then you really integrate and embody it over 60 days. Mm-hmm. So there's a combination of observing, witnessing, knowing your why is this so important to you? Because if that's not super important, nothing you do is going to change it. Like, you have to either hit rock bottom or really be passionate or really want to create this change in your life, and then work through the conditioning. So
no, it's good to acknowledge that. It's really just great to see that you can you can say I was born in this type of family and I received this type of education, but still you can completely choose to change and to shift your identity. Okay, how do you tell yourself, this should be part of my identity? Like, I feel like I'm really attracted by that. Maybe that's my identity. Do you think our identity is already, inside of us since we are born, or do you think we create our identity through life and through our experiences? How does this work?
Okay, so a bit of both. One, again, you said the word should. So I'm going to bring you in. All right. So for me, yes, we are a soul having a human journey. We chose our experiences. We've just forgotten what we already know. And so our journey, I believe, is about the remembrance of who we are and who we're here to be, which gives me goosebumps when I say that, because it's just so beautiful when you look at it that way. Everything's laid out. We really don't, I mean, even if you speak to an astrologist, for example, they say the planets are aligned and lined out. We have no control over what happens in our life. That's the level that they'll go to. And the same thing, I mean, I'm sure you've had an experience where you've said, your mind, your ego has said, I should be doing this and this and this. And it's a struggle, or you give it a go and then it fails and it doesn't work. And there's a lot of blocks and resistance to it. Whereas if you feel inspired to go, I love photographs. I feel like I would like to, not I should, I would like to do a photography course. And then next minute you open Facebook and there's an ad for a photography course starting the next. Can you see how it's like fully in flow, right?
Yes.
To me, that is the universe guiding us. I had a client who wanted to change jobs. She was very unhappy. And she said to me, so I said, she goes, I need to find another job first. And I said, okay, well, if you look at it that way, essentially, energetically, you're not creating the space for a new job to come to you. You still at your old job. And so she very bravely gave 4 weeks notice to end her job. So she was creating that space. And then she said, I'm going to look for and apply for 3 jobs every day. And I'm going to go into the papers. And I'm going to go into, and she was like actively looking for work. And I said, okay, let's have a little experiment. Rather than trying to make yourself find a job, can you be in flow for the next week? Tell the universe that you're calling in a new job, and then just see what comes to you. And she was like, oh my word, Daniella, I went to a coffee shop and they were telling me that they were looking for a new barista. And then I went to this place and they were telling me about this job. Like, it literally started organically flowing. She ended up choosing like a job that she was calling in. She wanted to do it, but so it wasn't one of those jobs. So I'm just giving you an example of how the differences between us following our intuition, our soul, inner higher self's guidance, and what the universe opens to us versus us thinking, okay, I need to make a change, or I want to make a change in my life. This is how it needs to look. We try and control everything. And the biggest, most challenging lesson I have learned in this journey is to surrender, let go of control, and trust. And like that took me, I won't lie, a good couple of years to fully step into, to the point where I've got a friend coming in 2 weeks' time. We're traveling for 10 days. We haven't got a vehicle. We don't know where we're going, but I'm trusting and surrendering. This is my friend and mentor.
Okay.
That it's all going to come to us exactly as needed, you know? So it's kind of scary and crazy, but it's beautiful at the same time. Coming back to what I was saying before, if you're feeling a sense of discontentment, unhappiness, overwhelm, there's something in your life that's not in alignment. Okay. I guess the next question would be, like, I've got questionnaires and things that I give to clients that help them to start asking these questions. So what am I passionate about? What do I love? I sometimes speak to moms and I'm like, what do you do for fun? And they just look at me blankly, because between kids, maybe they're working and looking after the house, they don't have time to go to the gym, see their friends, go for walks, you know? So just that, it's like, what do you love? Start doing those things. I have a 6-month program called Selfish is the New Selflessness, because we are so busy giving of ourselves. And for many, it becomes you're giving from an empty bucket or an empty vessel. Whereas I really feel we need to shift this perspective. Again, that's another external programming of giving. You know, you're selfish if you look after yourself. You're vain if you think good things about yourself. Like, no, that's rubbish. We have to be a little bit selfish so that we can fulfill ourselves and feel like we are content and happy. And then that just ripples out. Like, if you think about how great you feel after going for a beach walk in the sun, how much more energy and love you have to give versus if you had 2 hours sleep, you'd drunk 3 cups of coffee and it was pouring with rain outside, you're pretty wired and unhappy, right?
Yeah.
So being a little bit more selfish. So really understanding what's important to you and what am I not doing in my life that is missing? Like, what could be bringing me a little bit more value and meaning and purpose? There's a Japanese concept called ikigai where they talk about, you've heard of that. So, you know, where for many, like for me, for example, I'm so blessed that my passion and my purpose can bring me money. And like, so it's all linked, but that doesn't always have to be the case. For some people, they have to work, they have to pay the bills. That's totally okay. There's no judgment. But how can you balance that with things that you love, things that give you deeper value, meaning, and purpose in your life? And help you to connect to yourself.
Of course. And I have some people around me. I have plenty of people around me who always tell me, but Mel, I don't have any passion. I don't know what I like. I don't know. I would love to know, but I tried everything. I tried cooking. I tried gym. I tried everything. And that's where sometimes I feel like they don't have their own identity, you know, exactly as you were saying. They give a lot of themselves to others.
Yes.
But they don't know what they like for themselves.
They don't know what they like, but also because we're so disconnected. Our whole lives, we're programmed to do what people tell us to do and give of ourselves. And like, you go to school, you get married, you buy a house, you go to uni, you get a job, whatever the program is there. And you never are given the space and the time to just go exploring. I mean, a lot of people do. They get to travel overseas, they get to do all that kind of stuff. Not everybody does. And so they genuinely don't know who they are. And there's also this massive disconnection. So many people don't even know how to connect to their heart. We've been hurt. We've been challenged in life. So we shut down our hearts in a way of self-protection. So for those people that don't even know, when you're cooking, how can you know if you love cooking or not when you're not fully experiencing it from that space of connection to your heart and yourself? Yeah. Or how can you know if you enjoy gardening if you don't do it from a place of deep connection to yourself, because you're just doing it then. It's just ticking the box. Yep, I've cooked. Yep. So it's that mindfulness, that presence, that full embodiment of the experience to be able to fully feel if you enjoy it or not. So just quickly, what I would recommend for people to start practicing is every day, just, put your feet on the ground if you can, or you can imagine you are. Imagine your feet on the grass, and you're breathing up from the earth through your feet to your heart, and you just allow your heart to feel that, and then you breathe back down, and you just do it. I call it a grounding breath. You're breathing the energy up from the earth, allowing it to expand your heart, and breathing back down. And so that's a beautiful, just heart connecting breath that you can start doing, and it just brings you into the present moment. You might then just start exploring, like, okay, now, before you might go, how do I feel about today? And then you might do it and then go, how do I feel about today now? And you might feel a little bit more open or excited, or, something like that. And I know for myself personally, when I'm dealing with my kids, kids challenge us. If I have had a busy, stressful day and I haven't had a chance to consciously, because it is sometimes for many of us, it's a conscious connection. If I haven't had a chance to consciously connect with my heart, I'm a lot more reactive and grumpy. Whereas if I've had a chance to just stop, breathe, connect to my heart, feel the love for my boys, then when they do something crazy that is likely to trigger me, I just literally come into my heart space, just allow the energy to move through me, and then I'll respond rather than react. So this heart connection is so powerful. So emotions are energy. Okay. And so when we understand that to be true, we can also understand that, like I said before, it's not about emotions being good or bad, but about witnessing and observing them from a space of frequency and vibration. So we've got a spectrum of emotions, and you have high frequency emotions, which is love, compassion, kindness. And you've got the denser, lower vibrations, which is anger, fear, judgment. Yeah. Over our lives, we suppress our anger, our sadness, our shame, all of that, because it's bad, according to the human description. So when we learn, so essentially then you're holding all that density, all that low vibration in your body. And this is why it can manifest as illness or disease. So when we learn to clear that from our bodies through breath work, or like I said, I've got a process that I use, so whatever you choose, then we have the capacity to hold higher vibration and frequency. And that's not to say that we can't, but I'm just sharing that as an example. But then in that example with my son, I chose to come into my heart and hold love, which is a higher vibration and frequency. It didn't allow me to go into that lower anger back, which is what we sometimes do. And by holding that love, he kind of came up to meet it. This is why I keep saying, I feel for, in terms of us coming to an awakening or a spiritual connection, or whatever you want to call it, the connection to yourself through your heart is so profound, because then you can really hold. And the other thing to remember is the relationship with ourselves sets the tone for all other relationships. So if we can really learn to come into our hearts, love ourselves, love who we are, connect with who we are, and create that deeper understanding of who we are, then that's going to ripple out and then impact how people in turn treat us. If we're disconnected from ourselves, if we have no love and compassion for ourselves, if we essentially don't love and honor ourselves, then people are going to treat us exactly the same way, which brings us into the whole quantum physics conversation, but that's another conversation. So coming back to that grounding, connecting to your heart, and then really just being conscious, is there any fear playing out? And this is not a very important point, is this is not about bypassing. There's a lot in the spiritual community about love and lighting your way through. Just think happy thoughts, just, that's further suppression, because essentially going, oh, I'm angry, I'm just going to push that away and I'm going to think something positive. No, this is really about learning how to move that anger through you without judgments, clear it out, and then come into that neutral space, come into your heart, and then choose from there. So it's vitally important that we don't bypass. We have to, you would have seen so many different Facebook posts and images about, maybe a leaf growing out of the dark soil, or it's really about moving through the dark to find your light. Like all of those things, there's very much truth in that, because for us to really fully know who we are and live the best life and the most conscious, connected life, we need to understand our triggers, our programs, our stories, our shadows, and without judgment, loving our way through them, learning about them, learning from them, accepting them, and then growing and moving through them. It's kind of like our fertilizer, like with plants. So yeah. Well, just quickly, from the idea of quantum physics, essentially what that's about is we are all energy, and the energy we hold is what we receive. So it's the idea of, what we believe. We are the creators of our own reality. We have the power to create our own reality. So what you believe is what you're going to create. If you wake up in the morning, you've got a headache, it's like, oh my gosh, I'm going to have such a bad day, you're going to have a terrible day. If you wake up in the morning with a headache and you feel like, okay, I've got a headache, I'm going to drink lots of water, I'm going to take some rest where I can, I'm going to make the best of it, it's going to be a much better day. Same beginning of the day, different outcome depending on how you think about it or how you feel about it. So with the concept of quantum physics, also, it's about what vibration and energy are you holding, because that is what you're going to attract to yourself. And I didn't say this before, that our heart has a stronger electromagnetic field than our brain. I think, I can't remember off the top of my head, but it's about 50,000 times, or maybe it's 100,000 times stronger. So that's coming back to that heart connection. When we are in our heart and we're holding that heart vibration and energy, it's going to attract to us more of the heart-centered stuff than when we are in a depleted state or when we're trying to think our way through things. But when we look at quantum physics, it's about the energy and the vibration that we hold is going to impact what we attract to us. For instance, if you say to yourself, I want to be confident, and then you flip that and you claim it and you say, I am confident, can you feel the difference in that?
Yeah.
And this is what it's about. So the quantum physics stuff is about really claiming and owning who you are and what you hold within yourself.
Is it really all about self-talk more than anything else?
It's about vibration and frequency. So whilst you think it, you've got to feel it and you've got to be it, so that you are holding that. An example in one of Joe Dispenza's books is that his daughter wanted to go to Italy to study from America. And he said, we're not paying a cent. You're going to manifest your way to there. I don't know what word he used. I don't know if manifest is the word that he uses, but she essentially said, okay, I am going to Italy to study, and all these things played out because every day she woke up going to Italy as her vibration, as her truth. And so it became I think she got an exchange, and then something, maybe she won a competition, I can't remember, all these things unfolded to get her to Italy unpaid for the period of time she wanted. I think halfway through, I think she went to her dad and said, oh, I've got this bit, can we do this? And he's like, nah, you're going to do the whole lot. And yeah, so that was quite an interesting story. So it's not so much about, well, it is our thoughts. It starts with our thoughts, but then it's about bringing it in and being it. So you literally wake up with that vibration that has already happened, and you live it that way so that it comes into your field.
I completely believe in all of this. And that what you think you can attract in your life. So everything is related together and connected, but everything comes back to you and your identity and who you are, to understand exactly what you want and what you need for you to be happy and to feel great.
Yeah, and coming within again and being that and allowing that to come out, from the inner to the outer. So yeah.
The more you find your identity and the more you reconnect to yourself, the more you can be or feel maybe lighter in terms of how you perceive things around you and maybe your emotions.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm giggling because, like I said earlier, there's so many layers, but 100%. I was just thinking, where do you start? So I just thought I'd quickly share. So with my 6-month program, for example, I did a few weeks of just grounding. So with my ladies, I took them through grounding to the earth, being more present, being more mindful. Okay, so just that practice. Then we moved into loving our bodies. So how do you start shifting your talk around your body, your mindset? And so to create a deeper connection with our bodies. And then we went into understanding the mind. Mm-hmm. So what are your stories? What are your beliefs? What is your shadow stuff? Or did that come into the next one? Anyway, they're kind of a little bit linked, but so then we were able to move through that and gain a deeper understanding of that. And then we went into what your soul's truth is. So what are your passions, your values, all of that. But then, so can you see how it's a bit of a journey? It's not just one thing is going to change. It's like, it's all interrelated, but yes, like these little steps will help. Just connecting, grounding, and opening your heart is going to help you experience, perceive, and receive things in a different way. And then through that, you might start paying attention, witnessing, observing, okay, what stories are playing out? What excuses are coming up? What fears? What emotions? And then that helps you gain even more understanding of who you are and what's going on. Okay. But can you see how, all these little different steps give you a little bit more insight?
Yeah.
But it takes daily habits. So daily grounding and connecting, daily transmuting. So when I first did the transmutation process, I did it every day. Every night when I went to bed, I just sat in bed and was like, okay, what emotions came up for me today? Because we can't always do it in the moment, right? Mm-hmm. So then I just cleared it out in my field and then went to sleep. Journaling, reflecting every day, that's a massive part to you understanding and connecting with yourself. I have created a journal. It's in the sort of editing, publishing space at the moment, but just simple questions like, where did I operate in my heart space today? Or where did I fail today? Because that's it, and not from a place of judgment, but that's a beautiful lesson. Oh, I completely overreacted with my kids this afternoon. So next time this happens, this is how I can do it differently. Mm-hmm. Where did I succeed today? Or where my gratitude shifts our whole mind, and also it actually has an effect on our DNA. So our DNA strands have, gosh, I think they're telomeres at the end, and over time they get shorter and shorter and shorter, and that's how we age and then die. But yeah, so it actually, gratitude has an impact on our longevity. So if we can practice gratitude every day, but really feel it, not just, I'm grateful for my house, I'm grateful for my dog, I'm grateful for food on my table. It's like really allowing your body to fully experience all the different senses and emotions and sensations of having that experience is really powerful. So just those couple of things, daily practices of checking in, reflecting on your day, clearing any emotion. Oh, and in the morning, connecting to your heart.
That's crazy. You just taught me something about this DNA and gratitude thing. So do you mean that the more you're grateful, the more years you add to your life?
Well, yeah. I mean, if you think about, there's many factors that impact, right? And we won't go into the chemicals in the world and all of that, but in essence, yes. So they talk about how having a sense of purpose and living in gratitude are massive. So if you think about in our Western world, we've got this concept of retirement. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if you've ever noticed, but people, especially men, when they're going to retirement, they lost, they become depressed, they've got no sense of purpose or direction, and they actually can get sick and pass away a lot earlier. If, like in Japan, I don't think they've even got the concept of retirement. So they might finish that work or that service, but there's always something else. They might do gardening. They're constantly on the move and constantly still living. So, and some people navigate that well in the Western world. They're like, yeah, I can retire. I'm going to go fishing. I'm going to go gardening. I'm going to go do all this stuff, which is great. Or some people work part-time, but some don't. And then they go into this kind of depleted state. And that actually releases an enzyme that impacts our DNA. Whereas if they were able to be in that gratitude and that sense of purpose and really enjoy it, then you see some of those older generations that are like in their 80s and 90s and traveling around and fully like capable, that mindset has an impact, is contributing to that. But like I said, in this day and age, there's a lot of factors involved, but yeah, so it definitely can and does.
Okay. I love that. Yeah. I just want to come back to what you were mentioning about your work. So you're empowering women to find their identity. Is that right?
Yeah, men and women. Women probably more so, because I see the power that we hold in helping our men to move forward. So men are starting to do the work now, but I feel as women, we need to be really grounded and centered in our truth and our trust and belief in ourselves to be able to fully support our men. The coaching group work is typically more with women, and the mentorship, and but you can work with me as a mentor or coach one-on-one as well. And yeah, we dive deep into all we've spoken about. Who are you? How do you learn to navigate your triggers and your past traumas and heal those aspects of yourself, and learn a different way of perceiving and showing up in the world, and living your best life, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So for women in particular, yeah, because you don't really talk about men's body. I mean, men do have body image issues, and it's a definite thing. But with women, we've been disconnected from our bodies from a young age in terms of our cycle. We don't speak about our periods. It's bad, it's taboo, it's gross, it's embarrassing. So that was how it started, as well as, yeah, then the actual physical body image issue in terms of how we look. So being able to completely flip that in the work, in the coaching, in the journey that I journey my clients on, to really connect with all aspects of their body, connect with your womb, with your cycle, connect with the magic that your body brings you every day, and being able to go and walk outside in nature or go to the beach, or but in that also is also learning to nourish. So if I have a client come to me to lose weight, I'll be like, no, that's not our focus. But our focus can be to be healthier, or to have a deeper connection with your body, or to love yourself more. Because you can say, oh, I love my body, and then go and eat McDonald's every day. That's not loving your body in terms of honoring it, because you're not feeding it the nutrients that it needs. Can you see the difference a little bit? So you can still love how you look. That's beautiful. But you can also then love yourself deeper through how you nourish and honor your body, rest your body through the different phases. So there is one other aspect I wanted to add to that. But when you can let go of attachment to how you should look according to society, another rule, and fully embody and love and embrace the physical form you are here, because we're just souls having a human experience. So this is your soul has chosen this physical body. How do you love that and navigate the rest of your life through that as best you can? So, yeah.
Wow, I love it. I will definitely take out and remove the word should from my vocabulary. I feel like I should not, or should I use it anymore? So I'm like, okay, I'm going to.
But if you do, but if you do go, oh, hey, there it is again. Like, so don't judge. Like, have fun with it.
It's
like, like, here's that story again. Okay, let me change that with something else. Or how can I change that? And what would I like to do? So feel, you know, our body talks to us. If something feels good and it's something that you intrinsically want to do, it feels expansive and open. But if it's something you feel forced to do, or you don't want to do it, it feels contracted and like, it's this hard work, you know? This comes back to boundaries, and look, we're gonna have another conversation, but yeah, so feel how your body feels in response to something. And so when you find those shoulds or whatever, it's like, you know, I even had a girls' night planned, and 2 nights leading up, I'm like, no, this is not, my body is not feeling this right now. I feel like I don't want to be spending time with these women. Like, I love them, but energetically, I was not in the space to hold that. So I canceled it. And
exactly as you were saying for nutrition, it's like you were honoring your body, by listening
Yes.
to your energy and listening to its
Yes.
needs at this
Yes.
moment. Yeah.
Yes. Can I say one more thing on that? There was one analogy I was given earlier on in my coaching, my mentorship was having two, on the telephone, on our mobile phones, we've got the battery images. So you can visualize every day 2 batteries. One is the physical battery and one is your soul battery. And this was when I was trying to find the balance in the adrenal stuff. You can check in every day. How's my physical battery feeling? And how's my soul battery feeling? So it might be your physical battery is full, but your soul battery is depleted. So you might go, oh yeah, I've got so much energy. I'm going to go shopping. I'm going to go and catch up with this person. I'm going to go, and your soul's going, I just want some nature time. So this is how we can really start discerning. Or you might want to go out to nature, but your physical body's going, yeah, no, I need to sleep. I need to rest. Let me do that first, and then I'll check in again. So having those 2 little images in your mind can be a beautiful way of discerning what it is your body is asking for. And just say, hey, body, how are you feeling today? What do you need? Not what should you do? It's like, what do you need today? Physical battery, how are you looking? Soul battery, how are you looking? And then feel into that and then listen.
Love that.
But yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, if there were any other questions, boundaries is massive at the moment. Learning how to say no or put physical boundaries in place. Energetic boundaries are incredibly important. When you go out, how do you protect your space so that you don't have everybody else's energy coming in or siphoning out? Learning how to say no to groups and situations, like I said, or creating space from certain people as you journey through this and you start reaching a higher connection and understanding of yourself, and you start living in a different way or at a higher vibration, you kind of want to not spend time with certain people. You'll start losing people in your life, and that becomes quite confronting as well. This person's been my best friend since primary school, but if they're not on your page anymore, it's time, love them, accept them, thank them, but you might start creating some space and being okay with that. So that's a big part of this journey that people struggle with. And I know when I look back, I've lost so many friends, and everyone I'm friends with now are totally different to what I had like 5 years ago.
It's hard sometimes to tell yourself, okay, that's okay to lose these people who love me a lot and that I love. You can maybe you will suddenly be lonely. I don't know. It's the feeling of you know what you're going to lose, but you never know what you're going to win. And I think doing this step, taking this step is the hardest one for people.
Absolutely.
It's scary.
Yeah.
It's scary.
And yes, it's lonely, but I also found that it was lonely having these people around me when I can't actually be who I am. I can't be my true self. I'm having to pretend, and that was exhausting. And I felt judged, and it might not be you have to completely let them go, but like I said, the boundaries, maybe reducing how much time you spend with them and all of that, or energetically, how do you protect your energy field when you're around them so you're not impacted by them. So there's all those little parts to it as well.
Yeah. Wow. I love everything you just shared. I'm curious to know, what is your purpose? Why do you want to help others to find their identity and to reconnect to themselves?
I don't know. I just love it. It's going to make me emotional. I love witnessing people who come to me completely lost, and over a period of time, they are loving their lives. Like, it is such a gift and a blessing and an honor to be on that journey with them. So I just want to preface that with saying that I'm not a healer as in people come to me for healing. I'm a healer in that people come to me to learn how to heal themselves. So all the things we learn, it's about you being able to take all of that and continue to heal and work on yourself. And I love that. I love being able to see people step into their truth and their power and embrace life and love life, because again, energetically, we're rippling out. So then as a collective, all this love and all this connection and all this truth and all this power that we hold individually can come together and create change in the world. And then, like I said, women healing their sister wound and all this competition and horrible stuff that women do to each other, learning how to clear that and heal that so we can come together. Women are meant to be together in tribal ancestry, you know, that's our power. And then together holding our men as they come together and find their truth and their power again. So it's not just one thing. I'm just so passionate about helping. And I guess because for me personally, I just love life, and that's through my own journey, and being able to inspire and support people to receive that experience themselves is, yeah, it's beautiful.
This makes me smile so much. I cannot, you see my smile here on the screen? It's like, what you just said, I love life. Yes, I completely, I'm with you on that. And I love to hear people saying that, because it's great to see that some people just enjoy this life, and you're exactly as you were saying before, you're spreading your energy, and I can feel it from here. I can feel that. And I'm sure you're lightening some people around you. So yeah. Daniella, I loved our conversation so much. Do you have any last advice you would like to give? Or
I think I need to stop because I'll keep talking for another hour.
Maybe one advice you would like to give to people who are, you know, they don't really know if they know themselves or not, because we are talking about identity and we put words on it because we know it, you know, we are more aware of that, and maybe we did some research. But so many people just, they don't even know what that means, and they would love to, you know, like be happy at least. Or
one thing that dropped in when you asked that was, I just want to say there's going to be people going, nothing's going to fix me, nothing's going to change my life, nothing can help me. And I want to say that that is 100% not true. Well, actually, if you believe it, yes, it's true, it'll happen. But if you choose to invest in you, then we can definitely create change in your life. And you can know yourself again. You can connect with yourself again. You can learn and understand or understand yourself again. And so, like I said, either reach out, whether it's to me or anyone else you are inspired to connect with, do that and take that first step, which is scary and daunting. But I promise you, it changed my life. And have a play with some of the things we've spoken about. So play with going out or just connecting to your hearts, or play with the daily journaling or the gratitude practice. Just start playing. Sorry, I've got a little bug flying around. Just start playing and notice, you know, and it's not going to be perfect every day. We all have ups and downs, and the energies at the moment are insane. So you're not going to have this journey and like nothing's ever going to touch you again, but you know you'll have the capacity to navigate whatever comes to you. You'll feel empowered. You'll feel like you've got the tools and the resources. Anyone can go on this journey. You can receive the support. You can change. You just have to want to, and believe it. So that's it.
Thank you. And where can we find you if we want to be coached or mentored by you?
Yeah, I'm on Facebook, Daniella Princi, Instagram, Daniella_Princi. On Instagram, I've also got my tree link, is that what it's called? With a few different links and things you can access my online school. But yeah, just reach out, send me a message, and yeah, let's see what magic comes. The next moving forward just feels like there's still challenge to come, but it just feels like we're in this massive, beautiful new world that's shifting and growing, and I can't wait to see how that all unfolds. So yeah, please reach out.
Thank you so much again, Daniella.
You're welcome.